Hi, welcome to Joanna's DIY Life. On this channel, I love to do home decor on a budget. Now, let's get crafty. Okay, no preview for this one. I've got the socks and I am taking them apart. I cannot wait for y'all to see these. They are gorgeous. Okay, so you can use the rib part of the socks, or you can use the sock itself, or use both, which I'm going to do. But you need to cut the toe off because it'll leave a line in it and make it look a little weird. So I'm going to cut the toe off. And if y'all hear hiccuping, my granddaughter is beside me and she's got the hiccups. So y'all have to overlook that. But anyways, you cut the toe off and then you got to cut the heel off because you don't want that part either. Then you just cut the rib off. But I did a longer one earlier and it looked a little funny. So I'm going to cut this one a little shorter. So I need to paint my socks because I don't want a white pumpkin. So the easiest way that I have found, I did my first ones with a brush. That was like a pain in the rump. So I just used a little foam roller, and I think I got these at Walmart. I'm not even sure. Y'all, this worked, and it was so fun. I ain't even kidding. I don't know what joy I got out of it, but I did. I mean, it just enthused me. I don't know. But anyways, I'm just going to take my paint roller, and I am going to roll my socks, okay? And the first one is, oh my goodness, I think this is celery from Waverly. I'm not sure, but it's green paint. I mean, can you see it's green paint? So I'm just going to paint this first one and then let it dry. And I did use my heat gun to dry them, but you got to be careful because I almost caught my green sock on fire. So anyways, then for the ribbed one, I'm going to clean my mess up and I'm going to paint it orange. So I painted both of my socks, and now I'm just going to take dental floss because that's what's, you know, thicker. I just use it a lot. If you haven't seen my videos, dental floss is the way to go for just about anything, okay? So I'm just going to thread my needle with my floss, and that little hand down there is my granddaughter. But anyways, I'm just going to go in and out and in and out and in and out, making running stitches so that I can draw up my bottom. And then I'll do the same thing for the top, except the bottom I am going to pull real tight, cinch it up, and push it in the middle. Now you can do this inside out and it will automatically be on the inside, but it really doesn't matter because I'll pull it through anyway. Then I'm going to pull it as tight as I can, pinch it, and then start tying off my thread, floss, whatever you want to call it. Then when I get that done, I'm going to tie another knot in my floss, and I'm going to do running stitches in the top and then cinch that up. But I'm not going to cinch it up and tie it off because I'm going to have to stuff it. So I'm just going to put my stitches in and then stuff it. I almost forgot to tell you that when I do the top, I'm going to fold it in just a little so that that raw edge ain't showing, and then do my running stitch around it. So right here, I'm just taking an old pillow stuffing and stuffing this sock, and I am going to stuff it pretty firm so that I could do what I need to do with it. So that's what I'm going to be doing, just stuffing this pumpkin right here. Now when I get this one as firm as I want it, I am just going to pull tight, cinch it all up as tight as I can. Then I'm going to squeeze it with my fingers and tie it off. And I'm going to tie it off real good. Then I'm going to run my needle all the way through the pumpkin and bring it out the bottom and then cut it off. Okay, now I know that's a big hole in the top, but that's okay because that's where the stem is going to go. But I have this thin jute twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to thread it through this big eye long doll needle. Okay, then I'm going to tie a knot in the end, and I am going to run that through And I'm not going to pull real tight. Not just yet. And I got a tip for you with a pair of pliers. I'm going to go through one of my cracks, and then I'm going to go through the bottom. And if you have trouble getting your needle to pull through, take a pair of pliers and pull. Make sure you don't slip down your needle because you'll mess your needle up, but you can use your pliers to pull. Now when I get that one through, I'm going to go to the opposite side. This is the easiest way I found to get this even. So I go to the opposite side and I'm going to pull it through and then pull. And you want to pull tight, but not real tight. Just enough to form your little pumpkin indentions or pumpkin sections or whatever you want to call them. So then I'm going to go right in the middle of the two that I just have. And I'm going to do that on both sides. So instead of 2, then I'll have 4. See? And then this is the easiest way I know to get them even. You can go around and around and around, but I normally don't get them even when I do that. So I'm going to go in between these now and make my lines that way. So I'm just going to go until I get them all filled in, okay? Using my pliers mostly. Okay, now I have all my sections in. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to slide it under. I jabbed that right in my hand, y'all. And then be careful. I'm just going to keep running around and I'm going to tie a knot or a couple knots and then I'll run it through the bottom. Now at this point, I can shape my pumpkin and you can make it tall if you squish it, or if you squish it down, you can make it fatter and rounder. I'm going to leave that one fat. Now I'm going to do the orange one the same way, except on the top, I'm just going to go through the ribs where it already had a hem. And there they are. And my orange one is going to be tall. And then I'm going to leave the green one a little short and chubby. And also on this one, I just used dental floss to do my lines. Now I am going to take this makeup brush. It is fluffy and I love it. And this distress ink. And I'm going to distress my pumpkins. You do not have to do this if you do not want to. This is my preference. You know I like it dirty. Okay? So I'm just going to take this brush and I'm going to go down the cracks of my pumpkins. And then I'm really going to get messy and just stick the pumpkin down in the ink. Okay? And you'll see. And I'm just going to get it all just messy. But like I said, if you don't want to do this here, you don't have to. It's your preference, okay? I just think it looks better and it tones down the paint. Okay, now I have got this box of twine and I curl this by taking regular twine and then I roll it around, well, longer dowel rods. I just had this sitting there and I clip it with clothespins and then I spritz it with a water bottle and get it wet. And then I put it in the oven and bake it at 275 for 25 or 30 minutes. And then take it out and let it cool on the sticks. And then it'll be curly. You just have to watch how you take it off. So I'm going to use a couple pieces of this. I made them purposely for my pumpkins. And if y'all hear lip smacking, my granddaughter is potty training. And she has done excellent today. Very proud of her. But when she potties, she gets a piece of candy. And she has a chewy Werther's. And she is lip smacking over here, y'all. And it is obnoxious. But I can't help it. I got to do this voiceover. So I stretched this one out in the middle. And I'm just going to put glue in there and poke it down in there. And then I'm going to use this tool and stick it down. And then when I put my stem in there, you won't even know that that's there. And And then now she's whispering, y'all. I don't know what in the world she is doing. But anyway, I am going to, I done lost my train of thought because of her. I apologize. Oh, I'm putting leaves on here. Yeah. I save all my leaves from my flowers and the stems because you never know when you'll need them. And then, so this is one case in point. And then I had pip berries, and you can use those if you wanted to. I'll use them a little later. But I've got these sticks. Some I got out of my yard, to be honest with you, and some I got from the Dollar Tree. They're just all mixed in this bucket. But anyway, I'm going to cut this one in half with my miter shears because it was the right size, but a little too long. And then I'm just going to hot glue that right in the middle. And that is the way that I'm going to do this one. So on this one, I'm going to take moss, and I am going to cut a piece and shape it and just put a little bit of moss up there. I don't want a lot, but I want enough, if that makes sense. So, you know, whatever looks good to you, just stick it up there. So I'm going to put my glue down, and then I'm going to gently press this down on top of that. You have to be careful so that the glue don't burn your hand through the moss holes or moss spaces or whatever you want to call it. And then I am going to add, you know, I was going to add that little swirly, but I decided not to. Let me clean up my mess here. This stuff is gross. I hate it. But anyway, it's beautiful when you use it. So I'm going to take this pipberry. I get these at the Dollar Tree. Sometimes I get them at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to roll it around. All you need is something round. My finger, I think, is too big, so I roll it around that little pink tool, and then I'm just going to glue a piece down on the moss, and then I'm going to glue another piece down on the other side, and then I'll go from there. These made the most beautiful little rustic pumpkins, I am telling you. I'm going to use one of these stems that I made last year. I have a video where I done these in my playlist. I'll try to remember to link it down below for you. But these are made out of clay. And I'm just going to take my hot glue, and I'm going to put a generous amount on there and pop that bad boy down right in the middle and push real hard to get it, you know, to make contact through the moss. And there it is. It is so stinking pretty. I love it. Okay, this next one, pool noodles. Y'all, pool noodles. And this is muslin, but it kind of looks like one of the drop cloths from Walmart. It's kind of thick, but anyways, whatever material you want. You don't even have to leave it plain. You can use polka dots if you want to. This is just an extremely fun idea. And anyways, so I took my pool noodle and I cut it. I wanted one a little longer than the other on this one. And I'm just going to take my fabric and I'm going to cut a slit and I'm going to rip it. It's about maybe a little over an inch to an inch and a half, somewhere around in there. This worked great on the small one, if you was going to use a small one. But I did the big one, and I'll show you how to remedy the fact when you have to piece it together. So I'm just going to pop it down in there. Going to put a little bit of hot glue, tack it down. Then I'm going to run it around, and I'm going to try to do this as even, but it don't come out even, I'm telling you. But I'm just going to run it around, poke it through the hole. Now you can find a tool, pencil, whatever you want to poke through the hole if you want to. It does make it a little easier unless it slips off. But whatever you find necessary to poke through the hole to get your fabric through, do it, okay? So I'm just going to go around and around, and I'm going to do this as even as possible, like I said. And I want to leave spaces. So, you know, it just looks a little ragged and rugged. And I will tell you, when you're pulling it through, it can get twisted, and then you have a little edge on it, and you want to try to smooth them out as much as possible. So when I get to this part, all I'm going to do is glue a piece to it. Okay? That's all I'm going to do. And make sure that I smush it together, and then keep on running through my hole until I get to the end. Okay, now I'm at the end, and this is where I said it's not even. So I'm just going to put it across here, and I'm going to tack it with glue just so that I know it doesn't show any of that green, okay? And then when I get it done, I'm going to cut it off when I figure out how much I need to poke down there. And I'm just going to poke it in. If there's any sides that I see are sticking out, I'll just tack them down with hot glue. Now I'm just going to take one of the leaves and glue them on the top, kind of down in the hole. And then I'll take a piece of that curled jute, and I'm just going to put it around the edge, not in the middle this time, and just kind of push it in. And then I'm going to find a stem that fits good and tight down in that hole. And then I'll use a little bit of hot glue and tack it down to make sure it doesn't come out. Then I'm going to take some of my moss, wad it up, and I'm just going to glue it around the edges. You don't have to do this if you don't choose to. I just thought it was cuter. So that's what I done. Now I'm just going to give it a little trim, and that is my first pool noodle pumpkin done. Okay, I fibbed, I'm sorry. I'm not done. I take that brush and some more distressing ink, and I am going to distress my pumpkin, of course. I can't just leave it like it is. I have to fiddle with it. So that's what I'm doing. And then it's done. Now I'm going to take this ribbon, and I got it at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to do my smaller pool noodle in ribbon. And I am just going to tack it down, and then I'm going to pull the rest of it off of this roll. I didn't realize how much was on it. I was going to cut a long piece, but it ended up not being that much, so I just pulled it all off. And then I'm going to go in and out and in and out through the hole, just like I did the other one. Again, same thing with this one. When I get to the end, I'm just going to cut a piece off, and then I'm going to tack it down on the inside. And then around the edges, I am going to add hot glue because the ribbon is slick. So I'm just going to tack it down to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. Now, I thought this one would be cute, being buffalo check or gingham, whatever you want to call it, if it had sunflowers incorporated in it. So I got a stem that was really long, and I put it through the middle. And before I put the moss on, I'm going to go through the bottom, and I'm just going to add hot glue and then swirl it around to get it all over the stick so it'll stay. Then I'm going to add my moss. I'm just going to run it through my hands. I poke myself with a stick. You have to be careful. You don't know what's in this stuff. A lot of sticks most of the time, but I'm just going to shape it, and then I'm going to run my glue around and then form it around the stem and push it down. Then I'm just going to start adding the sunflowers randomly with some pine cones and some other stuff. Just, until it looks good to me and makes me happy. I didn't know which sunflowers I was going to use. I did end up gluing some of these paper leaves down on the sides, which you can't really see when I get done adding all my junk on there, but you know, I know they're there, so whatever. You can add them or not add them, whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to choose the sunflowers, and then I'm just going to go to town decorating. Those pine cones is the pine cone potpourri stuff that came from the Dollar Tree, and it smells so good. But anyways, I am taking my pliers and, you know, I'm cutting some of them down because they're long and I just need little pieces in here. So I'm cutting the ends off to stick in here. Then I'm going to twirl up my pip berries and I'm going to glue them in there as well. Now I'm just going to give this one a quick trim, and she's done. I'm happy with it. And here they are all done and grouped together, and they are so stinking cute. I'm sorry that my camera shows it a little dark and the color's a little off, but they are really beautiful. And I love each and every one. And that gray one back there is a gray sock, the top of a gray sock, and I love it. And I just used baker's twine that was gray and white from the Dollar Tree to tie that one. And I thought it came out really good. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you like this video, please leave me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Remember, you are a blessing. Until next time, goodbye.